Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. Yup, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, it's another spoiler warning. These will stop on Tuesday for the most part, but for now, you know the drill. This is your warning to turn off the video if you've not completed the campaign of Witch Queen, and in this instance if you've also not finished the quest that drops immediately afterwards, which Ikora will direct you to instantly. With that all out of the way, we can begin. So, it's not the first time in a Destiny campaign that we've had a post-campaign story arc. Beyond Light had the small arc where you finished off the individual hunts for Eramis' lieutenants and fought Cridis, and it also showed off the bit where Atrax was instructed to head to the Deepstone Crypt, and that kicked off the raid. Shadowkeep had the raid, which had us following another mysterious signal that emanated from the Black Garden, and that led to the beginning of the Season of the Undying. Hell, even Taken King had the Taken War, where your forces and the forces of Oryx clashed across the surface of Mars, Venus, and Earth, and of course that all led up to the raid King's Fall. Witch Queen's post-campaign story is a bit different. It is, in part, an exotic quest, but it's also something a little bit more. It's an exploration of the Throne World with the assistance of Mara Sov and a rather peculiar character, which I'm not going to name just this second. The Parasite quest is honestly so wonderfully fascinating because it takes that knife of distrust that the whole premise of Witch Queen is built upon, the whole knife that we've really had stabbed in our gut, and just twists it a little bit more, makes you question where the lines of allegiance really lie between different groups in Destiny. Those lines with Witch Queen have become even more pronounced than they've ever been, and in this quest, the question of whether Mara Sov can be trusted is really put out on display in full. So, where do we begin? Well, at the end of the campaign. You've defeated Savathun the Witch Queen and you've returned to Ikora in the Enclave, and it's clear that you all need to start preparing for the return of the Witness. There are several key players in this, and Ikora is going to direct you to one of them.
Guardian, you've no doubt heard the stories, where evil is vanquished and the sky opens, shining peace down on humanity. Savathun is dead, and yet again, I've seen no such signs. Instead, Immaru lives, plotting his return while the Scorn and the Hive struggle for supremacy over the Throne World. And somewhere among the stars, this Witness toys with us, preparing to finish what it started long ago. I keep reminding myself that somehow we evaded extinction once before. I have to believe we can do it again. Even Mara Sov, Queen of the Awoken, believes that. Which is why she's here, requesting you. Reluctant as I may be to pair you with one so unpredictable, we need the support now more than ever. Go, aid the Queen. She may prove to be our most valuable ally yet in the war to come.
Following this, we head deeper into the relic on Mars, and we speak to Mara, and she shows us something truly remarkable that she has kept on her person. Something disgusting.
Is that? The very parasite that once plagued the Witch Queen herself.
Queen Mara, good to see you.
Do not delay us with pleasantries. This parasite knocks at death's door.
What use do we have for Savathun's dying worm?
This parasite is an opportunity to learn from humanity's greatest failure.
Our collapse.
But not ours alone. That day was as much a failure for the
Are you okay?
I'm fine. As I said, our collapse was as much a failure for the Witness and its followers. Savathun included.
Savathun was there?
On behalf of the Witness. But something prevented humanity's end. Something known by Savathun and...
Her worm.
It requires strength and a new host to survive, to divulge its secrets.
But that's a death sentence.
For most, yes. But for the Queen of the Awoken, it's worth the risk.
Savathun's worm. Quite the trinket to have extracted. I want everyone to pause for a second and realize that this is a being of exceedingly ancient age, and that it's seen a whole plethora of savagery across its life. It has played host to one of the greatest genocidal rulers in all of Destiny's history in the form of Savathun, and it's not to be underestimated. Remember also that this is the worm that was extracted from Savathun in the finale of the Season of the Lost, the same moment which allowed Savathun to escape and to be chosen by the Traveler when she died. The worm, as Mara said, will die without a host. It is crucial that we get the worm to a new host with all haste, and in doing so we're going to need to revive it, and with that, we need to return to Savathun's throne world. We're essentially being sent out on a bit of a wild goose chase here, and as we do this we get to see a bit more of Savathun's throne world and its internal machinations, both the bits that she has tried to hide and the bits that she has built on top of. Of course, all of this is going to lead us to interesting places, but the first place it's going to lead us is to the birthplace of the Vile Strike, where we explore an area of the throne world which up until this point we've never seen. A city of darkness. An entire labyrinth and cacophony of pyramids and ziggurats that rose in dedication to the past machinations conducted by Savathun, but they rose also in dedication to the Witness. It is a city truly built in the architecture of the darkness. Go ahead and take a listen to the dialogue from this strike, and here you can learn a little more, in particular these first few lines.
All right, Mara, where are we headed?
To a city shrouded in darkness through the nearby caverns. There you'll find the means to breathe life into the parasite once again.
Understood. We'll contact you when we reach it. Mara, we found a door. It's like the inside of a pyramid.
A gateway to the Dark City, built by that which commands the nearby pyramid.
The Witness.
Not the Witness itself, but a disciple.
So what is this place exactly?
A factory, you might call it. Built for the growth and facilitation of those like the very parasite you now hold. Go, see for yourself.
Not to be rude, but how do you know that?
One does not engage with the all-powerful without first gathering the most valuable tool in war. Knowledge.
So I think Mara just gave us a very important insight here. There's an individual entity that commands the pyramids, of course known as the Witness. But in Savathun's throne world there is an individual there, and that individual she calls the Disciple of the Witness. Whatever that thing is, it's clearly very powerful given its ability to construct anything with a function and purpose within Savathun's throne world. That requires a grand degree of power, and for Savathun to allow it. And furthermore, if it's something that resides within the pyramid, it may well be the thing that we face, or one of the things that we face, in the process of the new raid that is supposed to take place in the pyramid. Mara has further words in this strike. Go ahead and take a listen to them. They pertain to some of the interesting notes about the Witness, and also they start to unravel the trust that we've built with her.
If hive worms were grown here, then we're looking for what? Some sort of machine?
It's twofold. A source of immense hive magic, a cryptoglyph, to provide life to the parasite, and a darkness incubator to infuse them. Shortly after gaining her new power, Savathun returned to her throne world, filled it with light, stamped out whatever poisons the Witness's disciple had spread throughout, including within that factory. And yet, I believe Savathun far too cunning than to completely eradicate the potential power of that place.
Then we'll start with the cryptoglyphs. Must be around here somewhere. An entire city of darkness, right in the middle of Savathun's home. And she did nothing to stop it?
Why would she? At the time, it benefited her. Endless worms for an endless army.
I feel like if I don't ask, you'll never tell. But all this Savathun and the Witness, disciples, and now this place.
You wonder how I came across this information.
That and why you didn't tell us sooner.
While you pursued Savathun, the Parasite and I traveled far and wide, pursuing related interests. Much of this knowledge is still new, even to me.
All this Scorn tech lying around makes me think they're using the darkness energy in this place to build some sort of lair. Best we clean them out. I'm picking up heavy darkness signatures in here, and more corruption.
You must be close to the incubator.
Only one way to find out. That definitely got the Scorn's attention.
As we rally to face our final adversary, we discover the incubator, and it reveals something incredible. The Parasite speaks.
We're clear, but no sign of an incubator.
It must be hiding in plain sight. Look around.
Fear swells. Deception Queen.
What did you say?
Nothing. You heard that too?
The Parasite. It speaks once again. It worked.
You didn't think it would?
Savathun's deceptions run deep. I fear that somehow the Parasite is cursed. However, I have yet to see evidence of it.
Looks like the incubator's out of juice.
And the Parasite?
Its vital readings are still low.
Then we have achieved only partial success. There are more incubators hidden across the throne world. I'll attempt to locate them.
Looks like our cryptoglyphs drained too, but we may be able to fix that.
See that you do. Keep the Parasite safe. I'll be in contact once I locate our next incubator.
You're welcome.
Perhaps this worm has a personality, more than just the hunger that consumes it. It certainly seems so, given what we'll discover later in the quest. Perhaps it has a name, or should have a name. For now, I think I'll call it Raymond. Yeah, there's a reference in there somewhere. Dynasty team members will know what I'm talking about. With the worm still weak, we still need to act with a degree of haste. Its words will make more sense in time, but first we need to power our cryptoglyph up once more, and to do so, we'll need the associated rune from the Temple of the Cunning. This is a process that we'll have to repeat over and over again. With each incubator, we need a charged cryptoglyph, and the cryptoglyph is repeatedly charged with these hive runes. The first one is discovered in the Temple of the Cunning thanks to Finch's help, and we wrestle it away from a pack of hunting Scorn. After charging up the cryptoglyph once again, we're then able to locate the other incubators in the lost sectors around Savathun's throne world. When we reach the first of them in the fluorescent canal and activate the incubator, the worm speaks once again. And so begins a series of fascinating interactions between us, Mara Sov, our ghost, and the worm.
My strength returning. Done well, Guardian.
You know who we are?
Watch many of you. Where Host went, I went. Long for those days.
I know more, Parasite. We seek information regarding humanity's collapse. Provide it, and you'll have a host again soon.
Ah, Deception Queen. Hello again. You, well?
Do not toy with us. Provide the aid we seek, and we shall do the same for you.
And who hosts this humble worm, then?
The Awoken Queen will provide. Do you agree?
Deliver your promise, gain your desire. Till then...
Following up on leads, we're able to locate another cryptoglyph rune, and we speak a little more with Mara. It's at this point, as we enter the Queen's Bailey, that we really start to see the bonds of trust that we've built up get tested. Ghost inquires into pressing points about her intentions with Savathun's worm.
Mara, the worm. Can it hear us?
Not while it hibernates.
In that case, you're not really going through with this host thing. It'll corrupt you, turn you against us. Mara,
It won't.
it said you were...
Listen not to the treacherous words of a parasite.
You're deflecting.
And you're intruding. I will not speak of it again. Onward.
With the rune discovered again and the cryptoglyph charged a third time, the worm has yet more to say, and the distrust that's brewing is something that it easily stokes. It becomes almost palpable here. Take a listen.
Air here, like fundament. Good to breathe again.
Don't get used to it. You'll be back beating off a host soon enough.
A great team, Mara and I. Better than by herself. Untrustworthy, that one. Plotting to kill Eris Morn, Crow, you even.
You're lying.
The parasite speaks truth. Or adjacent to it, anyway. They're not plots, more contingencies. In case evil sways them. Or you.
As usual, Deception Queen provides half-truths. The what, not the why. Pulls wool over eyes once again.
Enough, parasite. Keep your tricks out of the Guardian's head.
You first.
All of this distrust is seriously starting to build to a much greater degree, and Mara Sov knows this well. Whilst everyone is keen to understand what Savathûn saw that could have caused the collapse to fail, well, the teamwork required to unravel such a mystery is becoming harder and harder to foster. With every revelation we uncover, it appears that Mara is less trustworthy. Deception Queen has always been a fairly fair title for her, as well as Savathûn, and yet now it's exemplified more than it's ever been. Mara knows this and reaches out to you on your way to the next rune.
Guardian. About what was said before. My contingency plans. Darkness corrupts. Eris, my brother Aldrin. You. Whether it be in this timeline or another, we cannot risk it. Sparing you all that dark fate is my burden.
Uh-huh.
It's an absolute last resort. They all are.
Okay then,
I'm not lying to you.
but you're not telling us the whole truth either.
I have my methods. You have yours. I only ask that you trust me.
We'd ask the same of you.
In due time.
Even here we can see that Mara still isn't quite willing to go out of her way to extend the olive branch of trust if it can be extended to her first instead. Her reassurances ring hollow with our ghost, but we still need that information that the worm holds, and so we press on, locating the next rune we need in the deep site cache found around the apothecary wing. We proceed to the final incubator, and with that, another communication from the worm is revealed.
Ho once again. O Deception Queen, come to me, gracious host.
You'll have your host, just as soon as we have our information.
And why spill my juice gossip first?
Because we'll spill your insides if you don't.
Coward's way out. Kill me, lose priceless knowledge. Humanity suffers. Perhaps there's contingency for them too?
Guardian, smash the parasite's skull.
Relax. Have your precious knowledge. Surprising, you'll find Savathûn, much like Mara, riddled with doubt. In the face of collapse, Savathûn... Ah! Ah! Help!
Its energy is draining fast.
Ah! Cursed by the Witch Queen after everything!
Mara, it needs our help now. What do we do?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Mara, hello? She really just left.
Pain! Pain! Pain!
Okay, who can help us? Who else knows about hive worms? Of course, Finch! Don't fail us now.
When returning to Finch, he's able to provide us with something to help. A suitable receptacle for the worm, which will hopefully be helpful in a moment when we are able to find a cure for what ails it. However, we must hurry. The worm weakens every second, and if we're able to recover our precious knowledge, we must take it to a place where its strength may be restored. However, this falls to us alone to do, as Mara has momentarily abandoned the comms. Of course, all of this then leads us deeper into the throne world, where we're able to discover wells of hive energy, which are able to rejuvenate poor Raymond. But our pursuit of this energy must be swift. The worm coils towards death with every passing second. However, despite the swarm of opposing Lucent Hive, we're able to proceed successfully, and Mara returns in good time.
Sweet relief.
Glad you're feeling better.
Only temporary. Deception Queen ran away. No surprise.
A momentary lapse of judgment, nothing more.
Mara, what happened?
A story for later. First, we need to ensure the parasite's stability. Deep in Savathun's palace, you'll find hive light.
Passageway nearby will guide.
Lead the way.
Upon escaping with the worm and the charged light energy that's been funneled into the cryptoglyph, we reach the site of the ritual. And after completing the first part of it, Mara tells us a little more about the nature of her relationship with the Witness.
Mara, not to be harsh, but what's going on with you?
Before coming to you, I sought information about the voice in the dark. The Witness. What I found? Well, you could say I was granted a personal viewing of our impending doom at the hands of the Witness. Its poisons, piercing my mind and thoughts. I didn't know what to do. I had no plan. I was afraid. I remain haunted, unsure of the next move. But it must be made, regardless.
Mara's relationship with the Witness is surely a fascinating one. I can only imagine what she sees herself doing when it finally confronts her. But for the moment, we have a final ritual to attend to.
Over here!
We lack time. The Scorn send their strongest yet. Bring everything to me.
Mara, you don't have to do this. There must be another way.
Just trust me.
Wait, what is this? What have you done?
What I said I'd do. Provide you with a host. Though I guess this is really more a prison of light.
Not what we agreed!
Enough, worm. You'll live. Just like you wanted. The Scorn. They see the worm as an asset to the Witness. They will not relent until they have it. Take the weapon. Use it against them. I need to finish the ritual or we risk our parasitic friend escaping.
With the worm successfully contained within the weapon frame provided to you by Finch, we're able to measure its power, and it is immense. The worm does not truly die within the casing, or die when it is launched, but all the power that is contained within, all of that destruction which is only further amplified by the worm's hunger, is on full display. The Scorn came to reclaim the worm, but the worm would be the one to reclaim them. With it firmly added to our arsenal, the parasite delivers us a victory without much contest, demonstrating its power even as we complete the final ritual to seal it away in its casing for good. When it's complete, the worm reveals a staggering detail. If this is correct, truly, opaque and vague as it might be, it does change everything.
It's over.
Not quite. Our little friend here still owes us information.
Me? Make good? After your deception?
Perhaps you'd prefer my earlier proposition of your insides lining the floor?
Always violent. Fine. Have information. But only this. No more. Ever. Truth you seek. Humanity's collapse. Even the Witness deceived. The Witch Queen did its bidding. Earned its trust. Rode alongside to apocalypse. Watched many burn. But the Witness turned a violent gaze to Traveler. Witch Queen projected lies, clever deceptions wrapped in shadow. Tides turned, Witness sent away, back amongst the stars.
Are you saying Savathun deceived the Witness? Is she the reason humanity survived?
Not the reason. A reason. Not for humanity, but for Traveler. My promise delivered. Will say no more. Ever.
Consider the deal upheld. This is exactly what we sought. For now, I have one final task for you. The weapon. Keep it safe and secret. We can't afford anyone else getting their hands on the information it holds. I must leave. Parasite, it's been,
Spare me.
Gladly.
If all this is true, then this fundamentally changes everything we know about the collapse. First of all, we can tell that there are clearly more complex elements to this than we first imagined, and that there is a far bigger picture as to why the collapse ended in the way it did, with both sides effectively having found a stalemate, with the Traveler all but dead, and the Witness having retreated. Savathun, as it turns out, most remarkably of all, had a part to play in humanity's survival if the worm is to be believed. But what's more is this, she didn't do it to save us, she did it to save the Traveler. If this is the case, then this plan of Savathun's has been in motion for hundreds of years, slowly building until she had the key pieces. The point at which she recovered the Tablets of Ruin from Oryx was probably brought on by our murder of him 7 years ago, and with it she slowly began to understand how she might spirit the Traveler away into a throne world, namely hers. The artifact of the Black Fleet, which would one day be turned into our first glaive, the Enigma, would eventually be given to us on the Lure, Savathun's ship that sits over Mars, and it will allow us to seek the pathways into death. And finally, she would also gather to her the guise of Osiris as a key piece to her plot, so that she could learn more about the light and its protectors from within their own organization and a position of trust. All of this has been planned for generations, if the worm is to be trusted. But it is now ours to consider, and to keep, and to use. And inevitably, at some point, it's going to get thrown in our vault to have conversations with Darcy and Whisper of the Worm and all the other sentient weapons that we've acquired over the years. The last thing to consider is the lore tab to the Parasite, which reads as follows. Guardian. Transparency is not a strong suit of mine. Undoubtedly, this comes as no surprise. However, our misadventures, let's call them, with the Parasite have left me with a recurring ambivalence in regard to said transparency. As a result, I feel as though you are deserving of a more appropriate level of access to my thoughts surrounding recent events. In my previously mentioned vision was the Witness is one truth, an eternity of darkness in which I serve as a disciple. it brought me an overwhelming feeling I previously relayed to you as fear. But in actuality, it was fear born of what I felt most within this vision. Gratitude. Gratitude. As if my place alongside the witness was meant to be a reward for all I have ever done and ever will do. As if the witness is to be believed all I ever will do is unbecoming, to say the least. It is moments like these wherein I wonder if I myself should be put to rest to avoid perpetuating these dark truths. But I have never before wavered from righteousness, and I don't intend to begin now. With that, you should know that while our revealed truths about Savathûn and the collapse appeared minimal, I've already used them to begin tracing a trail of evidence that may provide us with the power of preservation in the oncoming storm. When the time is right, we will have further parts to play together. In the meantime, keep the parasite near, and listen close. It's bound to open its mouth again sooner or later. Mara Sov, Queen of the Awoken. So with that, I have just one more question for you all down in the comments. Do you trust Mara? Do you believe her when she talks about the nature of her work, and that she has done everything she can to undermine the witness? Or do you believe that she would fall into its clutches if the temptation to join the witness ever arose? Would you see Mara as the destroyer of the witness, or perhaps as its disciple? What do you reckon? Let me know down below in the comments section. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget that you can also leave a like, and of course hit subscribe, and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. But as per usual, know that your viewership is quite enough for me, and that in the meantime, my name is Byf. Perodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.